Alam na alam ng Pangulo ang corruption sa flood control. Direktang lumahok siya at tumanggap siya ng kickback mula rito.
Ang ginawa pong pagbusisi ng majority ng mga members ng Justice Committee ay lumampas sa batayang nakasaad sa rules of impeachment ng Kamara. Kung walang tinatago, walang dapat ikatakot. Haharapin mo ang mga tanong, hindi ka magtatago sa teknikalidad. Madam Speaker, I voted no because I believe accountability should never be treated as an inconvenience.
Maaari mang patayin ang isang impeachment complaint, ngunit hindi kailanman mapapatay ang galit at paghahangad ng sambayan ng Pilipino para sa hustisya at pananagutan.
Ako po ay bumoboto ng no sa committee report na ito dahil sa pasya ng komite na gawing mahirap para sa ordinaryong mamamayan ang proseso ng impeachment.
Kung hindi man ngayon, hindi matatakasan ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. ang araw ng pananagot.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Rene Luisco of Kabataan Party List for her
The Honorable Rene
manifestation.
Luisco has 2 minutes. Please
Be
proceed.
given 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we just heard the committee report and the sponsorship of our House Committee on Justice Chairperson, Representative Jinky Luistro, on the findings of the committee after it discussed the form and substance of the 2 impeachment complaints lodged against President Bongbong Marcos Jr. But Madam Speaker, I'd like to provide a snapshot of the deliberations and how parts of the discussions were not thoroughly considered and not as reflected in the committee report. Madam Speaker, distinguished sponsor, paragraph 11 of the committee report reads, the Maza et al. Complaint fails to allege facts that would constitute abuse with respect to unprogrammed appropriations, the amounts of the same, the projects and implementing agencies, and recipient of the beneficiary of the alleged abuse of discretionary power. Wala raw pong recital of facts na nagsasabi na meron pong abuso sa paggamit ng unprogrammed appropriations. Pero po, Madam Speaker, nirehistro po ng endorser na to and miyembro ng committee na meron pong clear identification of 3 acts alleged in the facts that constitute abuse with respect to unprogrammed appropriations. Una, ang presidente po ang nag-aproba ng special budget requests na nire-require ng batas that releases approved unprogrammed appropriations items after the budget was passed. Clear din po ang recital na may 213.8 billion pesos na nirelease in unprogrammed appropriations of various fiscal years, of which 111 billion pesos po ang pumunta sa flood control projects that were tagged as anomalous. I can cite din po paragraph 20 to 25 ng Maza et al. Impeachment complaint, ang mga recital of facts na ito. These are alleged to be of the 3 acts constituting betrayal of public trust. Hindi po accurate ang committee report to say that there is no recital of facts constituting the offense. Gusto ko lang din pong i-correct. Meron din po nakalagay sa report. The doctrine of operative fact recognizes the law is presumed valid and constitutional while in force, assuming that this applies po to the Pimentel III versus House of Representatives ruling on unprogrammed appropriations. Madam Speaker, I'd like to correct. The doctrine of operative fact, as ruled by the court, does not apply in this case. At pinapabalik ko ang 60 billion na sa PhilHealth. Madam Speaker, the point of all this, marami pong arguments ang dineliver on the floor na pinaliwanag sa Committee on Justice na sufficient in form and substance yung Maza et al. Impeachment complaint. Repeatedly, ngunit hindi po ito direktang sinasagot. Meron pong ultimate facts na inallege, meron pong verification form,
May
meron din
we respectfully request the Honorable Rene Co to please wrap
Yes po, I will wrap up, Madam Speaker. Meron pong recital of facts that makes this sufficient in substance. And the way around it po is nagkaroon po ng botohan that the authenticity of evidence be considered at the level of sufficiency of substance, something that is not practiced or even provided in the rules of impeachment. Madam Speaker, my distinguished colleagues, sufficient in form and substance ang impeachment complaint ng Maza et al. At very serious po ang mga allegations na nakalagay ito. Hindi po natin pwedeng itaboy or even hindi tignan. So therefore, I ask this body to be able to vote on the committee report in accordance with principles with conscience nga po, nang may bigat, no, kung ano ang epekto kapag ang panawagan ng mamamayan, ng pananagutan sa pinaka-available at constitutional
Madam Speaker.
avenue na ito ay hindi po magawa. Thank you,
Thank
Madam
you very
Speaker.
much, Honorable Co-Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Sarah Jane Elago for her 2-minute manifestation.
The Honorable Elago has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Yes, Madam Speaker. This representation would like to point out some observations on the committee report of the Committee on Justice on the impeachment complaint filed against the President. First, the committee report did not include the series of voting done before there was an actual count of votes on the consideration of the authenticity of the annexes to the impeachment complaints. There were 3 rounds of voting done by the committee, and this must be included in the committee report as a matter of fact. Second, the arguments in support of the sufficiency in substance contained only 3 paragraphs, while the arguments in support of insufficiency in substance contains a detailed narration supported by 15 paragraphs. Some of the contents in the complaint that were noted as sufficient factual allegations during the committee hearing are as follows. Paragraph 68, page 19, stating that the flood control budget surged by 33% in 2023, the first full budget under the BBM parametric formula, while unprogrammed appropriations exploded by 221%. Paragraph 78, page 20, alleging that the implementation of the managed stage resulted in the concentration of contracts to favored entities, including the President's 2022 campaign donor and firms owned by high-ranking officials. And third, paragraph 84, page 20, as to the fact of the BBM parametric formula's geographic distribution that was determined not by hydrological science, but by the priorities of leaders who needed jurisdiction to host their allocated projects. Also included were the allegations in paragraphs 103, 106 to 108, 111, which supported the second charge of betrayal of public trust in connection to the President's abuse of discretionary power over the release of unprogrammed funds. Again, these allegations were noted as sufficient factual allegations, but were not included in the committee report. Third, the finding that the arguments in support of insufficiency in substance of the Masa et al. Complaint, paragraph 15, page 10 of the committee report states that the legal standard of command responsibility and personal culpability cannot stand because there is no statement that the President knew or should have known about his subordinates' unlawful acts. This finding is contrary to what the Masa et al. Complaint narrated in paragraphs 122 to 123. Moreover, it was contrary to what was manifested during the committee hearing that there was bad faith on the part of the President when he personally signed off on a system that bypassed rigorous planning and technical vetting, funneled billions to favored contractors and congressional allies, resulted in 421 confirmed ghost projects and thousands of substandard structures, and left Filipino communities more vulnerable to flooding than before. It is therefore clear that the committee report did not faithfully reflect the hearing conducted on the impeachment complaint against President Marcos Jr. Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that we recognize the Honorable Antonio Tino of ACT Teachers Party List for his manifestation.
The Honorable Tino has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker. Nais ko pong i-address ang mga statement o ng mga membro ng mayorya, both sa Justice Committee at sa publiko, sa media, no, na hindi raw napatunayan ng mga endorser ng complaint yung mga aligasyon laban sa Pangulo na betrayal of public trust. Wala daw ebidensyang naipakita. Una, hindi pa po ito ang yugto, yung determination of sufficiency of substance. Hindi pa ito ang yugto ng pagpapakita at pagkilatis ng ebidensya. Hindi po yan ang trabaho ng mga miyembro ng komite sa puntong ito. Gayunpaman, nais po nating idiin na sapat-sapat ang allegation of facts sa complaint para sa sufficiency in substance. Meron pong ebidensya sa lahat, lalo na dun sa ikatlong bahagi ng complaint, ang aligasyon na direktang lumahok at nakinabang si Pangulong Marcos sa flood control corruption sa pamamagitan ng pag-utos ng insertion sa BICAM at pagtanggap ng kickback o commitment mula rito. Sa partikular, nasa complaint ang aligasyon na ayon kay Yusek Bernardo, nasa 100 billion na insertion na inutos ng Pangulo, 52 billion ang kanyang direktang hinawakan at mula rito ay nagbigay siya para sa Pangulo ng 8 billion na commitment. Nasa complaint po yan. Binanggit sa complaint, ang papel hindi lamang ni Yusek Trajib Olaivar, kundi pati ni Yusek Adrian Bersamin. Sino po ba si Adrian Bersamin? Officially, PLLO, Presidential Legislative Liaison, pero lumalabas unofficially siya ang runner, bagman at disbursing officer ng Pangulo na tumatanggap at gumagastos ng kickback sa utos ng Pangulo. Merong record ng komunikasyon sa pagitan ni Yusek Adrian Bersamin at ni Pangulong Marcos mula December 2024 hanggang July 2025. Kabilang dito ang mensahe noong Marso 2025 ng pagtanggap ng delivery ng 8 billion mula kay Bernardo na pinarating kay Pangulo. Kasama ang acknowledgement at tugon ng Pangulo na okay. Sabi po sa mensahe, complete na po ang 7.122 delivery sa akin. Tapusin ko po ang computation today. Kalakip nito rin ang detalyadong computation ng mga pinaggastusan ng 8 billion na kickback. Kasama po rito, pangunahin ang gastos para sa mga kandidatong sinuportahan ng Pangulo noong nakaraang eleksyon. Kasama rin ang gastos sa mga TBAD para sa eleksyon. Pambayad ng 6 million pesos para sa dayuhang pollster na si Perun na ginagamit na election consultant ng Malacanang at 68 million pesos bilang talent fee para sa isang performer na ginamit ng administrasyon sa kampanya. Nagpatuloy ang komunikasyon na ito hanggang July 2025. On July 10, pinaabot ni Yusek Bersamin na may delivery siya ng 2 billion pesos para sa Pangulo sa Nara residence sa Forbes Park at sa sagot ng Pangulo. Sasabihan ko si June Baris. This is July 10. The President appears to be receiving kickbacks days before he went to Congress. Humarap siya rito at nagsabing, mahiya naman kayo. Sino po ang dapat na mahiya? Bukod kay Yusek Bersamin, may kopya po ng record ng komunikasyong ito ang isa pang miyembro ng kapulungang ito, si Congressman Leandro Libiste, at pinarating sa amin. Sa ilan sa aming mga kasapian dito, kasama si Congressman Erice, hawak din ito ng isang LGU official na pinagkakatiwalaan
Respectfully requesting the
ng
Honorable
mga
Pino to
Bersamin. Sa
please
madaling
wrap
sabi,
up.
may malakas na ebidensya sa aligasyon na may alam na alam ng Pangulo ang corruption sa flood control. Direktang lumahok siya at tumanggap siya ng kickback mula rito. At nasa kapulungan ngayon ito kung boboto para patayin ng impeachment at para tuluyan ng maprotektahan ng Pangulo sa investigasyon at paglilitis na tanging magagawa sa pamamagitan ng impeachment. Ngunit nasa kapangyarihan ng plenaryong ito kung boboto ang kahit 1/3 lamang para ituloy ang proseso ng impeachment hanggang sa paglilitis.
Thank you very much,
Meron
Honorable
ba
Pino.
ritong titindig para malantad ang buong katotohanan ng flood control? Meron ba ritong handang panagutin si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos? Ano man ang mangyari, patayin man ang impeachment ngayong hapon, lalabas at lalabas ang katotohanan. Mananagot ang Pangulo sa taong bayan. Maraming salamat.
Thank you
Madam
very
Speaker.
much. Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Laila De Lima of Makabayan Liberal. for
The
her
Honorable Laila De
manifestation.
Lima has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I will be maintaining my vote at the committee level, meaning I will be voting yes insofar as the dismissal of the first or the De Jesus complaint is concerned, and I will be voting no insofar as the dismissal of the second complaint or the Maza et al. Complaint. So, let me begin with a simple point. A dismissal settles nothing at this stage. It answers nothing. It clears no one. It ends a process before the process can do what it was designed to do, and that is test allegations, demand accountability, and let the public see how truth is confronted under the rules of our democracy. Noong nakaraang linggo sa deliberasyon ng Justice Committee, ilang ulit ko pong pinaalala sa ating mga kasamahan ang ibig sabihin ng sufficiency in substance. At that stage, we are not supposed to argue as if we are already in trial. We are not supposed to declare allegations false simply because they are inconvenient or politically costly. Our responsibility is narrower and more disciplined to determine whether the complaint contains factual allegations constituting the offense charge and serious enough to justify moving forward. Ang tanong po ay hindi, totoo ba yung mga alegasyon? Kapanipaniwala ba? Guilty ba ang presidente? Ang itinatanong, nararapat bang umusad ang proceedings at magkaroon ng pagdinig batay sa bigat ng mga alegasyon? That is what the rules require. Ang ginawa pong pagbusisi ng majority ng mga members ng Justice Committee ay lumampas sa batayang nakasaad sa rules of impeachment ng Kamara. Kaya premature, aking palagay, my submission, ang ginawang pagbasura sa Maza et al. Impeachment complaint. Some of our colleagues even appeared to deal with the respondents' possible defenses. Those defenses should be raised by the respondent at the proper time. An impeachment is political, yes, not merely legal. It was acceptable for many in the committee to defend the president immediately, even at a preliminary stage, even before the proper testing of evidence. Yes, impeachment is both a legal and political process. Pero dapat malinaw na ang pinakalayunin ng impeachment ay alamin ang katotohanan at itaguyod ang pananagutan. This representation believes that a more responsible course for this House, and even for the President himself, is to allow the complaint to proceed to the next stage. If the allegations were baseless, the President would have had every opportunity to respond, to rebut, and to dismantle them on record. Sa ganoong paraan, dapat iresolba ang mga pagdududa sa isang demokrasya, hindi sa pamamagitan ng pagsara ng pinto, kundi sa pagbubukas ng mga record.
Thank
Malinaw
you
sa
very
atin.
much.
Kung walang tinatago, walang dapat ikatakot. Haharapin mo ang mga tanong, hindi ka magtatago sa teknikalidad. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Congresswoman Laila De Lima, Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move that to recognize the Honorable Rene Luis Co to explain her vote and that she be given 2 minutes.
The Honorable Rene Luisco has 2 minutes to explain her vote.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, bumoboto ang kabataan ng no sa House Resolution number 746 na nagpapanukalang ibasura ang impeachment complaint laban kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. Sa inendorsong impeachment complaint na kinatawang ito, matapos ang pag-aaral ng hawak nating ebidensya, may 3 acts na nakita tayong pagtataksil sa tiwala ng publiko. Una, ang pagbuo at pagpapatupad ng iskema ng korupsyon sa anyo ng BBM parametric formula bilang opisyal na mekanismo ng alokasyon ng pondo para sa flood control projects at iba pang infrastructure projects na pabor sa interes ng leadership. Ikalawa, ang pag-aproba ng releases ng unprogrammed appropriations pagkatapos ng budget, pinakamataas sa kasaysayan natin, na nagresulta sa pagkuha ng pondo ng PhilHealth na unconstitutional para pondohan ng flood control projects na maanomalya. Ikatlo, direktang iniutos at tumanggap si Pangulong Marcos Jr. na papasok ang hindi bababa sa 100 bilyong pisong halaga ng maanumalyang flood control projects at iba pang proyekto sa General Appropriations Act. Despite all these anomalies, standing allegations that have yet to be fully debunked, the Senate Blue Ribbon Report, the House Justice Committee report, the ICI report sing in chorus that President Marcos Jr. has no links to corruption. Sa House Committee, a consideration not provided in the rules had to be added, culminating in the virtually scripted junking of the impeachment complaint. Why are we not following up on leads? This impeachment process is the proper, legal, and constitutional avenue to do so. Yet for this year, that ends today. Sa inendorso naming impeachment complaint, sinasaad dito ang facts constituting betrayal of public trust. Wala pong rason kung bakit hindi dapat ito tumuloy-tuloy sa hearing proper. Bilang mga mambabatas, hindi dapat tayo takot na ungkatin ang katotohanan. Ang hiling ng kinatawang ito, let the Filipino people who suffered from disasters and lacking basic social services because of misuse and abuse of public funds see their day, see their truth. Let the Filipino people repose their trust in a public office that deserves it and does not betray it. Para sa kapwa ko mga mambabatas, today we write one of two possible stories. Either we pursued genuine accountability or we helped sanitize the president and bury the corruption trail leading to Malacanang. Sa mamamayang Pilipinong nakasubaybay, tayo ang tunay na hukom. Is the president truly innocent in this corruption scandal? Through generations of traumatic corruption scandals, from Marcos Sr. to the pork barrel scam, and now Marcos Jr., we have learned to recognize the patterns of impunity. No matter how deeply these allegations are buried, truth will surface. It always does. Muli, ang boto ng kabataan ay no.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Laila de Lima to explain her vote.
The Honorable Laila de Lima has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, thank you, but under the rules, Section 120 is supposed to be 3 minutes, not 2 minutes. Under the rules, Section 120.
Because it's an impeachment proceeding, Honorable Laila de Lima, and it's not a legislative.
But we don't have a specific provision on impeachment with respect to the time limit as to impeachment. So under the rules, it's 3 minutes. Anyway, Madam Speaker, I will exert best effort. With the premature dismissal of the Maza et al. Impeachment complaint, the lingering question is, why the rush to end the process before the public could even witness it unfold? This brings me to the broader context. After the President's SONA, he spoke strongly about corruption in flood control projects, he condemned contractors, he announced the creation of an Independent Commission on Infrastructure, or ICI. Investigations were conducted and still going on. Some arrests followed. For a moment, many Filipinos felt a sense of relief, almost hope, that perhaps government was finally prepared to confront the machinery of corruption that has drained public funds for decades. But that momentum did not last. Instead of deeper disclosure, we saw hesitation. Instead of clarity, we saw the public left waiting. And then came the allegations made by former Congressman Zaldico. Even if his statements were not under oath, they were serious enough to damage public trust. They were serious enough to raise new questions. And they were serious enough to demand an official response that goes beyond press releases and political spin. Hindi pwedeng idahilan na hindi makikiisa si Zaldico dahil ayaw niyang umuwi ng bansa, kaya mahirap patunayan ang mga alegasyon niya laban sa Pangulo. Hindi nangangahulugan ito na titigil tayo sa paggawa ng paraan para arestuhin at paharapin siya sa mga investigasyon at kaso laban sa kanya. The House, or this House, had an opportunity to respond with seriousness. We had an opportunity to show that Congress does not flinch when allegations reach high office, but instead, we chose the quickest exit. Malalim ang implikasyon nito. Hindi mabubura ang nangyaring pagboto ng Kamara ang mga pagdududa. Lalo lang nitong paparamihin ang mga tanong. It does not protect credibility. It weakens it. It does not clear the President's name. Walang closure. It ensures that the questions will haunt him for the rest of his term because public doubt does not disappear. When we refuse to examine it, it stays, it lingers, it hardens, and it becomes part of political memory. What we dismiss today will not stay buried. Tulad ng mga ghost projects na pinakamalaking scam sa ating kasaysayan, ang hilaw na pagbasurang ito sa impeachment ay multo na babalik ng babalik at ibabato ng ibabato sa Pangulo. It will return. in the public conversation, in the media, in the streets, and in every moment when this administration asks the people to trust it. Maganda ba ito para sa administrasyon at lalo na para sa ating bansa? Madam Speaker, I voted no because I believe accountability should never be treated as an inconvenience. I voted no because our people deserve better than silence dressed up as procedure. And I voted no because I refuse to be part of a decision that will be read, rightly or wrongly, as fear. Kung inosente ang Pangulo, pinakamainam na dumaan siya sa tamang proseso na magpapatunay nito sa paraang kumpleto at hayagan. Sa halip, pinili ng Kamara na ibasura agad ito. Nang dumating ang mabibigat na paratang laban sa Pangulo, yumuko at pinalampas lang ito ng Kamara. Is this the legacy we want to define this House? That's why, Madam Speaker, I voted no.
Thank you very much, Honorable Laila de Lima, Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Sara Jean Elago to explain her vote.
The Honorable Elago has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Ang boto ng Gabriela Women's Party ay no sa House Resolution number 746. Naninindigan ang kinatawang ito na ang Masa et al. Complaint ay sufficient in substance. It is clear in the House Rules of Procedure in Impeachment Proceedings that the requirement of sufficiency in substance is met if there is a recital of facts constituting the offense charged and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. Malinaw na inilahad ng Masa et al. Complaint ang mga impeachable acts ng Pangulo at kung bakit ito naging betrayal of public trust. Una, ginamit ang baseline balance managed parametric formula upang pamahalaan at kontrolin ang pamamahagi ng bilyong pondo para sa flood control at infrastructure projects. Ang formula na ito ang nagbigay daan sa sistema ng allocables kung saan pinapayagan ang mga mambabatas at iba pang government officials na pumili ng mga proyekto batay sa naaprubahan na budget. Tiniyak ng formula na ito na may kickback mula sa mga malalaking proyekto ng gobyerno. Pangalawa, tanging ang Pangulo lamang ang may kapangyarihang maglabas ng unprogrammed appropriations at inabuso niya ito. Inilaan niya ang 213.8 billion standby funds, kabilang ang 111 billion na napunta sa flood control projects upang pondohan ang mga proyektong napili ng priorities of leaders. Pangatlo, personal at direktang inutos ng Pangulo ang insertion ng at least 100 billion na flood control at iba pang infrastructure projects sa 2025 General Appropriations Act. Kaugnay dito, may tatlong magkakahiwalay na ebidensya ang direktang nag-uugnay sa Pangulo sa kickback schemes. Matapos masiwalat ang mga anomalies sa corruption, hindi pa rin winakasan ang pork barrel system ng allocables, hindi inalis ang unprogrammed appropriations sa GAA, at wala pa ring investigasyong nagaganap sa lahat ng mga sangkot na opisyal. Nakakadismaya na hindi nakita ng mayorya na sufficient in substance ang Masa et al. Complaint sa kabila ng malinaw na paglalahad ng impeachable acts ng Pangulo at kung bakit ito betrayal of public trust. May sapat na ebidensya at batayan para magkaroon ng investigasyon na may kinalaman ang Pangulo sa bilyong-bilyong pangurakot sa ating bansa. Ito ang tama sanang pagkakataon upang ipakita na walang sino man, kahit ang pinakamataas na opisyal ng bansa, ang nakakaligtas sa pananagutan pagdating sa korupsyon. Kaya, Madam Speaker, nais ng taong bayan na pagbabago sa bulok na sistema, nais ng mamamayang Pilipino ng tiyak na pananagutan mula sa mga nagnakaw at patuloy na nagnanakaw sa kaban ng bayan. Habang ang mga mastermind ay nalulunod sa bilyong pisong nakurakot mula sa flood control projects, nananatili pa ring lubog ang bansa, lubog sa pagbaha tuwing may pag-ulan at bagyo, lubog sa mga bayarin at pang-araw-araw na gastusin dahil sa mahal na bilihin, lubog sa pagkadismaya dahil ipinagkait sa taong bayan ng pagkakataong mapanagot ang nasa tuktok matapos ibasura ang impeachment complaint na ito. Habang lubog na lubog ang mga Pilipino sa tindi ng pang-ekonomiyang krisis sa bansa, malayong nakakalangoy ang mga kurakot na big fish sa kaban ng bayan. Sawang-sawa ng taong bayan sa kawalan ng hustisya at pananagutan, hindi matitinag ang malawak na hanay ng kababaihan at mamamayan na sawang-sawa na rin sa bulok na sistema. Hindi man pinakinggan sa bulwagan ng Kongreso, lalakas at lalawak ang panawagan sa labas nito. Maaari mang patayin ang isang impeachment complaint, ngunit hindi kailanman mapapatay ang galit at paghahangad ng sambayan ng Pilipino para sa hustisya at pananagutan.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Marcoleta to explain his vote.
The Honorable Marcoleta has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Madam Speaker, I timed the explanation of both of the Honorable De Lima, and it took her 4 minutes and 2 seconds without interruption. May I be accorded the same privilege, Madam Speaker?
The gentleman has 2 minutes, and if you need more time, we will cross the bridge
Request for
when it
extension.
comes.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, my dear colleagues, isang makabuluhang hapon sa ating lahat. Ako po ay bumoboto ng no sa committee report na ito dahil sa pasya ng komite na gawing mahirap para sa ordinaryong mamamayan ang proseso ng impeachment. Ang kanilang pasya ay nagsilbing harang sa halip na mabigyang daan ang pagsagot sa hinaing ng maraming Pilipino laban sa pamumuno ng Pangulo na nagdudulot ng kawalan ng tiwala ng publiko. Ang proseso ng impeachment ay dapat manatiling abot kamay sa ating mga kababayan. Marahil ang isa sa mga pinakasagradong tungkulin ng pamahalaan ay ang magbigay ng patas at walang kinikilingang hustisya para sa lahat ng mga mamamayan nito. Hindi lamang ito kawalan ng panig o neutrality, kung hindi ito ay ang pagpanig sa hustisya mismo. At ang sawari ko'y tila paimbabaw na hustisyang mayroon tayo ngayon ay siyang pinaka nakakabahala. Ibinasura ng komite ang mga impeachment complaint batay sa boto ng mga miyembro nito na insufficient in substance ang mga complaints. This sufficiency in substance requirement is met if there is a recital of facts constituting the offense, charge, and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. Sa talakayan pa lang ng komite, hindi na magkasundo ang mga miyembro sa kahulugan ng recital of facts. Ang komite mismo ay hindi magkasundo sa definition ng ultimate facts na siyang mismong usapin sa pagdetermine ng sufficiency in substance. Ang mga nag-endorso ay nagpahayag na dapat ang mga facts, kung ito man ay maging totoo, kapag umabot sa paglilitis na sa impeachment court ay dapat na umayon sa reklamo laban sa impeachable officer. Unfortunately, this line drawn from the discussions reflected a difference in understanding among the members of the Committee on Justice. Mas mainam na sa impeachment court sa Senado, timbangin ang katotohanan at kabuuan ng ebidensya, hindi sa Justice Committee. Masyadong mataas ang requirement na hinihingi ng komite. Inahilin tulad ng komite sa isang legal proceeding ang paghahanap ng statement of facts. Ang naiwang tanong sa usaping ito ay kung in-apply nga ba ng komite ang tamang threshold o standard nung idineklarang hindi sufficient in substance ang mga complaints. Isinantabi ng komite ang mga complaints at kaakibat nito ay isinantabi nila ang pagiging political process ng impeachment na dapat bukas sa lahat sa mga abogado at hindi abogado. Ang pasya ng komite ay walang pagpapahalaga sa tawag ng ordinaryong mamamayan para sa pagpapanagot sa mga public officers. Colleagues, Article 11 of the Constitution vests in this House the solemn duty and the exclusive power to initiate impeachment. That power is not to protect any person. It is to protect the Republic. It is to ensure that when serious charges are pleaded with a factual recital, the constitutional process moves forward to the proper forum where truth can be tested with due process. Let us not adopt a dismissal built on the wrong threshold, and let the constitutional process proceed in the matter the Constitution and our own rules command. With this, I vote no on this committee report. Maraming salamat po, Ginang Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Madam Speaker, I move to recognize the Honorable Antonio Tino to explain his vote.
The Honorable Tino has 2 minutes. Please proceed.
Maraming salamat. Madam Speaker, bumoto po tayo ng no dahil nakapaloob sa impeachment complaint na aming inendorso ang buong katotohanan na magtatai at magbibigay linaw kung bakit sa ilalim ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. nangyari ang pinakamalaganap, sistematiko at sentralisadong paglimas sa kaban ng bayan sa kasaysayan ng Republika mula nang mapatalsik ang diktador na si Ferdinand Marcos Sr. noong 1986. na naitala sa Guinness Book of World Records dahil sa ill-gotten wealth, following in the footsteps like father, like son. Ngunit hindi lang command responsibility o sin of omission ang kasalanan ng Pangulo. Direktang nag-utos siya ng at least 100 billion na insertion sa 2025 budget at tumanggap ng at least 8 billion na kickback. Saan ginamit ang pera? May bahaging napunta sa personal, ngunit ang kalakhan ginamit para sa eleksyon. Ito ang sekreto sa likod ng pagbaha ng pera sa panahon ng eleksyon. Pera ng taong bayan, ginawang kickback mula sa kontraktor, pinambili ng boto para manalo at umulit ang siklo. Ganyan mismo ang ginawa ni Pangulong Marcos. Ito ang pinakadirekta at masahol na pagtataksil ni Pangulong Marcos sa tiwala ng bayan. Si Pangulong Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. ang pinakamalaking isda sa flood control corruption scandal. Ginawa niyang command center ng organized plunder ang Malacanang. Inagaw niya ang pondo para sa kalusugan ng mamamayan para dalhin sa kickback ng iilan at direktang nag-utos ng 100 bilyong pisong insertion para tumanggap ng kickback. Malubhang pag-abuso ito sa kapangyarihan ng pagkapangulo at pagtaksil sa tiwalang ipinagkaloob sa kanya ng mga Pilipino. Kung hindi man ngayon, hindi matatakasan ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. ang araw ng pananagot. Maraming salamat, Madam Speaker.